everybody. We are coming to you live today from River Oaks Golf Course. We are along Spicer Creek today. My name is Emily Root. I'm the Director of Ecological Programs at Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper, and I'm here today with Debbie Whalen, who is a local resident and also a Waterkeeper volunteer and a local steward of Spicer Creek and other local creeks. So I invited her to come talk about Spicer Creek today. So we'll be kind of giving an overview of what Spicer Creek is if you're not familiar with it, its health and significance, and then some of the work that's been going on along the creek. So I'll just start by kind of giving some orientation for where we are today. So we are on Grand Island, and we are off of East River Road, kind of like 3/4 of the way up the island. And so Spicer Creek originates around, I think it's Stony Point and Staley Roads, and then flows northeast through Grand Island. It kind of flows through some undeveloped lands and then some residential lands, and then through the golf course, and then out into the mouth of into the confluence of the Niagara River. So we're about a half a mile or so from the Niagara River, and if you're looking from the mouth across the river, we're just across the river from Tonawanda Island and the mouth of Tonawanda Creek, so that helps to kind of orient to where we are today. So yeah, I guess just wanted to allow Debbie to talk about, she's lived along the creek most of her life, so I wanted her to share her experience living along the creek and some of the changes she's seen over time as she's grown up here. So.
Sure. Being photobound.
Hello.
Anyway, so I grew up on Harvey Road and 2 houses away from Spicer Creek, and it really played an important role in recreation growing up. My brother and his friends used to fish and camp along the stream. We had 2 ponds, one on each side of Harvey Road, and there was a Cub Scout group, and they used to also do all their activities on the creek. They also went up to the river, followed it, and carved in paths, and really had a good use of it there. Also in winter, I used to skate on the ponds. It was really nice to get out there with friends and clear off the snow and then ice skate. So it's a little different today. If you go look at those ponds, the health of the ecosystem is not as good. It's filled in with sediment now, and weeds are growing up, so it's no longer something we can use for those activities. But it's great what waterkeepers and other volunteers are doing down here to help restore, the rest of Spicer Creek. We really appreciate that. A lot of good memories.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I've heard similar stories of people having caught some really big fish up in some of the headwaters of Spicer Creek, which now is not really possible because of development over time. And as Debbie was saying, that has caused a lot of sedimentation in the creek and made the creek a lot narrower and allowed opportunity for invasive species to colonize in those areas that were really now optimal for their growth. So that has changed really the hydrology and the makeup of the creek over time and caused some impairments, which I'll talk about in a bit. But Spicer Creek is also really significant. So I know Debbie said it's her favorite creek. It's one of my favorite creeks too, which is really hard to pick for me because there's so many of them. But it really does have a lot of ecological significance. So all of the streams on Grand Island are within the internationally significant important bird area. So they serve as very important habitat for migratory birds as they make their migratory pathway to where they're headed for the winter and summer. And so I know from my experience, I've seen a lot of waterfowl along here, especially after the creek has had some restoration. The last time we were here, we saw a great blue heron. We saw some sort of sandpiper. I'm not sure exactly what it was because I didn't have my binoculars. Kingfisher. We've had ducks, a ton of different ducks. I don't know if there's others. You've seen egrets probably. So a lot of different birds.
Cormorants,
species.
mergansers, ducks.
Yeah. So a lot of different waterfowl that use this as a really important habitat as they make their migration. This is also really important mussel habitat. So there was a study that was completed that looked at many sites within the Niagara River Greenway, and Spicer Creek was the only spot where native mussel species were found. So that is really remarkable and making a very significant habitat for mussels. It's also a really important spawning habitat for fish. So a lot of fish species come up the tributaries to spawn as part of their life cycle. So a study found 34 different fish species in the creek, including muskie, northern pike, yellow perch, bluegill, a bunch of different species. So yeah, it's very providing a lot of habitat for a lot of different species. So it is really important in that sense. But we also know that from similar studies looking at water quality and the health of the creek that the water quality is not great. So the creek is designated as threatened and aquatic life is stressed due to silt and sediment, non-point runoff, and increased stream temperatures. So that's happening from erosion, non-point source runoff, and so that's impacting the water quality and the ability for the creek to support wildlife. So that's what makes Spicer Creek such an important opportunity for restoration, so we can improve the creek's ability to support those wildlife species that rely on it and restore some of that value that was historically lost due to development. So that brings us to why we're here today at River Oaks Golf Course. So we recently, Waterkeeper led a restoration effort here that was completed in 2019. So you can kind of see behind us a lot of these areas were eroding and mowed turf grass to the edge and very little aquatic vegetation or native vegetation. So you can see all of the lily pads, pickerel weed, and other native species which are currently establishing here. So when we were looking at opportunities to complete restoration along the creek, the golf course was really the top opportunity that came to mind. So we were able to get in touch with the superintendent here, do a site walkthrough, and talk a little bit about where we saw opportunities to do some restoration work, and also listen to their concerns and their thoughts about the creek too. So they were really concerned about the property loss they were experiencing from erosion, and also they use the creek for irrigation. So this is actually the area where they pull the water from to irrigate the course, and they were having a lot of issues with excess sediment, which was impacting their ability to pull water from the creek. So we knew after talking to them that we were able to address those concerns while completing habitat restoration to address some of those impairments I talked about before. So we knew it was a really great opportunity. So we spent some time looking for funding, and within about a year we were able to secure funding from the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, and then we started restoration here. So we targeted 5 priority areas of the course that were receiving the most runoff. So often on golf courses there's pesticides and fertilizers being applied which may be running off into the creek. So by targeting those areas, we were really finding the best ways to improve water quality. So by restoring the buffers, those natural native grasses and plants are going to act as filters. So they're going to filter all those nutrients and pollutants before they enter the creek. So yeah, we targeted 5 different areas over 28 acres, and we completed different activities like just not mowing. The basic one. There were several areas that we just asked the course just to not mow and let the grasses grow. That's a really simple way to just improve the buffer areas along the creeks. And we also did restoration with heavy machinery, so came in some of those areas that were very steeply eroding. We graded the shoreline back to a more gradual grade, and then installed lots of different plants and trees along the waterways. And then we also lot of different techniques over a large area, and we did monitor water quality throughout, before, during, and after, and all of the things we were monitoring improved after restoration. So we can say this was successful, and this can be used as a model for other golf courses too. So that's a really brief synopsis of the work we did here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited and thankful to all of the partners who helped in make this project possible, starting with the River Oaks Golf Course, a lot of municipal representatives from Grand Island. Our consultant was Wendell, and our contractor was Ecological Restoration Inc., and many other people helped to make this project happen, including volunteers from Grand Island. So yeah, we're really excited to share this with you today. There are also other restoration efforts happening along the creek. So we worked with the Homeowners Association upstream to do some plantings there, which further carried our work up the stream. DEC is also doing a project downstream near the mouth of the creek to restore some habitat there. So a lot of great work happening along the creek, including Debbie's efforts. Debbie comes out here every day and picks up a bag of trash. So I wanted to make sure we highlight her efforts, which really go a long way towards improving the health of the creek. So if you could share a little bit about kind of what you're finding and any tips for other people who want to help do similar work.
Well, it's nothing like the work you guys have done on the creek. It's awesome. What I do, anybody can do. I basically like to walk, and when I go for a walk, I just take a bag with me, and I still get a good workout, even a better workout, because a lot of times I'm lunging to grab that trash, so I get my heart rate up a little better.
Trash aerobics.
Yeah, and I'm not finding anything unusual. I mean, with pandemic, there was an uptick in the takeout containers. It's always plastic and cigarette butts. I'm preaching to the choir. You know what we find, usually the cans, plastic bottles. I pick up everything. What I like about it is I've built a sense of community around me when I'm doing this. I've met, the guy who picks up at the cemetery, the owner of the marina across the street, Jim Maloney, I think his name is. He's always out there picking up cigarette butts. Diane from the golf course, she's carted me around and let me use her trash bin for some of the trash. So it's just great that you see a lot of people that are for the same thing. And I recently added a grabber. Can I show my grabber?
Yeah.
Which has really made it easy.
Absolutely. Yeah, Debbie has been, when we started solo sweeping a little more during the pandemic, you were like the #1 solo sweeper every day, doing it.
Well,
so.
My husband and I cleared out a lot of old garbage along the Spicer Creek Wildlife area. And we just, you set your limits. We said, we're going to go out, do 1 bag a day, 1 large trash bag. In the beginning, it took us 10 minutes to fill that bag. But then, you could see it was taking longer and longer to fill a bag every time you went out. So you see your improvement, and that makes you feel productive. And that's what we needed during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. But now that I've got it all cleaned out, and I know other people have helped, you kind of build an ownership for that area. So we've unofficially adopted, from Ransom Road to just past the Radisson. And I go out, probably 4 times a week, maybe 5 sometimes. I picked this bag size, an actual litter bag, which I like because I have cats and they're abundant. And then you just cut a little slit and you can hold it nicely. But you pick whatever size bag. If you just want to use a small bag, that's fine because it all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody saw what I was doing on Facebook and donated a grabber to me. Since then, that one's worn out. I get them on Amazon. They're 2 for $30, but they're very precise. I can grab those cigarette butts. It's very easy to grab something with them. I can reach into the bushes, get out those bags of dog poop that they throw in there. Sorry, that's my pet peeve. Or I can reach out into the water and not have to go in. Also, I don't wear gloves a lot because I don't touch the trash. This takes care of everything, so I would highly recommend it. Also, I do collections on bike and on kayak, and so this helps. I don't have to get off the bike, just stop and grab the trash. So I would recommend this. If you don't use a grabber, of course, wear your gloves. Be careful of sharps. Only pick up one thing at a time because you don't know what's going to be under it. And certainly don't touch anything like needles or masks, that type of thing. So make sure you keep yourself safe while you're doing a cleanup. And the best part of it is now you've introduced CleanSwell app. So
Oh, yeah.
I just carry it in one of these little pouches that I got at a dollar store somewhere. And you just start your cleanup and track the numbers of things, and then you can see your history. So I've done like 12 cleanups on it, and I've already collected like 120 pounds of trash, and it's felt like nothing because all you got to do is a little bit every day, right? And you don't have to do it every time. Just do it up to your comfort level. But getting more people out there and normalizing that it's okay to pick up litter. I mean, in the beginning, I had people asking me, you know, how much do they pay you to do that? And one lady stopped at her car and she's like, honey, are you collecting cans? I got a whole bag, you can have them. I'm like, no, I'm collecting everything. So it's been an experience. I've met a lot of people. In fact, even today, while I was waiting to get started, I found a golf ball over by the gazebo. So I picked it up. I was going to save it for my husband, who's a golfer. Then I noticed someone on this side looking for a golf ball. So I'm like, oh, is it a Titleist? He's like, yeah. So I met him over on this side, and you know, you're just constantly meeting people and connecting, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, I think, you know, I'll keep doing it till the snow flies, and then take a break till spring. But
Yeah.
it's been great. Sorry if I talked
Awesome.
too
No,
much.
Oh my gosh, no, you are like the best. Yeah.
We really appreciate it, and you're so inspiring to me, and
Yeah.
others can be
Thank you.
inspired too by all the work you do. And there's no effort too small that all of it goes to making the creek healthier. And,
Absolutely.
and even if you're not, you know, on a mission to pick up trash, even if you're just walking from your car to wherever and see trash, you know, we just encourage you to pick it up because it all does end up in our waterways. So
Yeah.
really appreciate your efforts. And I will say about the app, I know it can sound like a little bit cumbersome to have to download an app, but I did it this past cleanup, and it actually is really easy to use. It actually saves time in having to fill out the data sheets, and it makes it really fun because it's almost like a scavenger hunt, and you can be like, ooh, I found this.
Yeah.
So I really encourage everybody to use the app. It helps us to find out what is the most of that, you know, that's littering our waterways, and we can advocate to stop those single-use plastics or whatever it may be at the source. So that data is really helpful for us. So again, thank you so much
No
for all your
problem.
efforts. And yeah, I think that's really all we had to share about all of the things going on around Spicer Creek, and we've really seen the creek improve in its health. So we're really excited about that. We'll continue to look for opportunities for restoration along the creek, continue to do cleanups and different events. So if you want to check out our website to keep an eye out for upcoming events and cleanups, that'd be great. And we also have more detailed information on the River Oaks Golf Course project on our website too. We did a webinar last year that goes into a lot more detail than I did today about all of the aspects of the project. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. Yeah, I think that's it. So did you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, just on the CleanSwell app, it gives you fun facts every time you reach levels and you earn badges. So it's a great way to get kids involved too, because it gets you hooked in watching the numbers and learning about the plastic bags are sea turtle or the jellyfish impersonators. I'm sorry, things like that. So it's just cool stuff to get everyone involved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We hope you learned a lot about Spicer Creek today, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day.